Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, going to go over a story titled, My Affair Has Turned My Husband into a Robot. And a big shout out to Brian for sending me this story. And guys, this story is yet another example of a whiny crybaby who's looking for a whole lot of pity because things aren't exactly going according to plan with her. You're going to see in this story how she openly admits that while she was pregnant, she cheated on her husband and had the kid and all that, and eventually told him, and has been trying to be the best wife ever. And for some reason, he's not exactly very affectionate, loving towards her now that he knows that she cheated while she was pregnant. And of course, it's not fair, and she's having a big freaking meltdown about all that. That'd be a good one to show you guys how just unbelievably selfish some people can be, and in this particular situation, a woman. And how when a guy's girl cheats on him, wife, fiance, girlfriend, it's best to break up. Obviously, it's more complicated if you're married, but if you stay together, you're not going to get that image out of your head of your lady, if you want to call her a lady, has some dude, Chatter Tyrone, do you know what in her mouth, amongst many other things. You're not going to get that image out of your head. And every time she's on her phone, you're going to think, who's she talking to? Every time she says she has to stay late for work, what is she really doing? She wants to do a girls' trip, which you all know how that works out. You get the point. It's best to part ways. And yet in these stories, these gals expect these guys just to, like that, forgive them and act like nothing happened. Because we all know darn well that the situation was reversed, and if while she was pregnant, he was banging some chick that was 10 years younger than her, you think she would just get over it like that? I think not. So you'll see what I'm talking about in a moment. Starts off here, it says, my husband and I have been married for 9 years. 3 years ago, right before the pandemic, I had an affair with one of my coworkers. At the time, my husband was working in consulting and was constantly traveling. I was only seeing him about a few days every month and would go multiple months without seeing him sometimes. Okay, that's a long time apart, but still, he's doing what he has to do for his family. I guarantee you he's not loving that. Couple that with the fact that I was pregnant at the time, I was already in a terrible state. You can already see she's setting the stage to have excuses for her actions. My coworker convinced me that my husband was cheating on me. Told me that there was no way a man was able to spend that much time away from his wife without looking for the company of other women. I know how pathetic that is, that I let her manipulate me like that, but at the end of the day, the fault lies with me. It was my job to protect my marriage, and I was the one who failed. So, he's always away. I'm pregnant and not the right state of mind, and the coworker convinced me. Now, it's interesting, she said she. Is she the female coworker, the one she had the affair with, therefore this woman's bisexual? Or is it just a female coworker who convinced her of this and she had the affair with a male coworker? That's the only part that's confusing. Our daughter was born in the early 2020, so I took maternity leave, which means I wasn't seeing my coworker very often anymore. We would still text, but we were drifting apart. Then the lockdowns hit, and suddenly my husband wasn't traveling very much anymore. Seeing him around the house, caring for our newborn, and just being the wonderful husband he's always been made me feel incredibly regretful. Well, you're damn right you should feel regretful. I broke down and admitted everything to him. Guarantee you she didn't admit everything. I still remember the way his face just melted. He was smiling at the beginning of the conversation, but by the end, he was just expressionless. He wasn't angry, he didn't cry, he just sat there. Because he went numb. Like a lot of guys do in this story. The life has been sucked out of him. He asked me if our daughter was his, and I promised him that it was his, since I'd never been with any man besides him. Sure. He told me that he wanted a paternity test anyway, just to be sure, and I agreed. He then just stood up and went to sleep with our daughter. So, that's how he reacted. Paternity test, went numb, that's it. And probably now his only joy in the world is his daughter. I knew I had to give him some space, but the whole thing was eating at me. I came to him and told him that I had blocked my affair partner on everything and told him that we would no longer speak. I also told him how I had to quit my job. The last part was something we had discussed before the pandemic anyway, so I could take care of our daughter. But with both of us home working, we didn't think it was necessary. He told me I didn't need to do that, but I told him that I couldn't be around her anymore. So again, she said to her. I asked him what I had to do to make our marriage work, and he said that our marriage was working just fine. No, it wasn't. He wasn't planning on divorcing me, he wasn't planning on leaving me, and that we were fine. He said that he liked having me around, and I was the only person he'd ever been in love with, and we worked well together, and that he couldn't raise our daughter on his own anyway. So, I think what happened is he was just done. But he realized, looking at it logically, I love my daughter, I don't want to have to be divorced and then not see the girl all the time, and I can't do it on my own. You sure as hell can't. Now, it's a tough situation, but this is not going to work, okay, as you're about to see. It's better to part ways and find a way with the girl and all that, because just being with her all the time, she'll be a constant reminder of that, and he's not going to get over this, as you will see. And also, you don't want that little girl growing up in a house where mom and dad, there's no love and affection, because that little girl herself will one day be in a relationship like that. If you don't think that's true, look around, guys. Look at families out there that you know that there's like no love going on with the parents, and then in time you'll see those kids sadly end up in relationships like mom and dad. I've seen it. I have to say, I felt pretty over the moon about that. But I also knew I couldn't let him think I was taking advantage of his forgiveness. I threw myself in being the best wife and mother I could be. So, you were down on your knees every night? I really think I started doting on him. And honestly, I realized I wasn't treating him nearly as well as he deserved to have been treated. I cooked for him, I tried to look good for him, and I tried to be more affectionate. But that's when I noticed how different he was. He would only sleep with our daughter, never with me. He used to say he couldn't fall asleep without me, to the point where when he was away on his business trips, he would call me at night so I could talk to him so he fell asleep. Okay, dude, let's not act like a little bitch. He used to always kiss and hug me, but he stopped touching me completely. Whenever he was home, he would try to take me out on dates, but he completely stopped doing that too. He barely even spoke to me. What do you expect? Like that? He was going to get over it? I don't care if you were cooking for him and doting on him and down on your knees every night, even though he didn't want to touch you. Doesn't matter. It's going to take a long time to get over this. And again, do you think any woman would get over this just like that? That some guy was banging a chick or whatever when she was pregnant, especially when she was pregnant with his child? Oh, hell no. No freaking way. But he's supposed to just act like, get over it. Be a man and get over it. Excuse me, guys. My throat's a little off this morning. I'm doing this early because this crazy weekend storm coming from the northeast is hitting New England. It's supposed to be like a real feel, negative 43 tonight. No shit. For you New Englanders, stay safe. So I'm doing these videos as fast as I can this morning to get back home. Anyway, he says, but somehow it's much worse now. When we have sex, he just lays there and doesn't move or kiss or touch me at all like he used to. It's like he's forcing himself to be there. There's been more than one occasion where he doesn't want to finish. He has never initiated. It feels like I'm forcing him to have you-know-what with me, and it makes me feel disgusting. Because he doesn't want to touch you, that's why. Because the second he sees you naked, he pictures you naked with that other dude. Or, in this case, that girl. Alright? Amongst many other things. He needs time. And, okay, so fine, it's been taking years. This is an example why it just doesn't work, and it's time to just part ways. But a lot of people just, they have to go through everything of seeing it's not going to work for them to fully understand that. It says here, then Saturday night happened. I'd gotten sort of dressed up that night night out with my friends. I hadn't gone out with my girlfriends in a long time, so I was pretty excited. I'd also purposely done my hair the way he likes and wore his favorite dress to see me in, if that could make something happen with him later that night. My husband sees me about to head out, dressed up the way he likes, and he said to me, "You have a date tonight or something?" So she's going out with her girlfriends, dressed all sexy. What do you expect him to think? How do you expect him to react? Right? And we all know about those girls' nights. Does that mean every girls' night girls are going to go out and cheat on their husbands or whatever? No. But sadly, a lot of awful things happen. And you mix a bunch of gals together with alcohol, and they're good looking, and you get some gals that are recently divorced or unhappy in their relationships, they'll start influencing the others. You all know what I'm talking about. She says, like, seriously, after everything, he really thinks I go behind his back like that. I sort of blew up at him because I was so frustrated. And he just said, well, it didn't stop you before, so I don't know why it would stop you now. And when you know you can get away with it. There you go. This is why you part ways, because he ain't over it. That really broke me. Oh, poor you. I didn't end up going out that night because I just didn't feel like it anymore. I don't know how much longer I can take this. How do I fix this? I just want my husband back. You're not going to get him back, okay? It's a lost cause. Cut your losses and move on. You screwed up, all right? You cheated on him, and obviously multiple times. If what she's saying is accurate and fully truthful, yeah, you told him, okay, good. And yeah, you've been trying to make up for it, but he ain't going to get over it. She said also, I just figured I'd put this here since I failed to mention it in the post, but we did try marriage counseling. He didn't want to do it from the start, and we quit after a few sessions because of that, and because he would barely speak during the sessions anyway. I've been in therapy myself for quite some time now. I'm going to suggest therapy to him. I'm also going to have an honest discussion about all this with him. The last time we did that was what got him to start sleeping with me again, but ever since then, he always refused to speak to me about it. I'm going to sit him down and make sure we get this settled. Good luck with that. I know I wasn't a good wife, you think, but I do love my husband. He's my first and only love. He's a wonderful father to our daughter, and before this, he was a near perfect partner. She had to put near perfect. We've been together for over 15 years. I don't want a divorce, and I will do anything in my power to repair this in him. I know it might be a wasted effort, and things might never get better, but I won't give up. Lady, give up. It's not going to work, okay? And even if he was perfect, because she had to say near perfect, still she did what she did, all right? Obviously it didn't matter to her, and she let he's away on business and her little lover manipulate her and use it as an excuse. I just don't buy these crybaby fests. And obviously they want to do marriage counseling, because I'm willing to bet you the marriage counselor is probably trying to make him forgive her. You know how these things work with the marriage counselors. They're almost always in the favor of the woman, as these stories go. So cut your losses and move on. End of story. You'll both be much happier. It ain't gonna freaking work. And that daughter's gonna grow up in a household mom and dad are miserable. But if you don't, you'll keep having this. That's what I think. Now, a few comments here. One guy says here, he doesn't love you anymore. You betrayed him in a very shitty way, and the only reason you guys are together is because he wants to be with his daughter. You're not getting your husband back. You can blame whoever the F you want, but this is consequences of your actions. Amen. Another guy says here, yeah, because that's what betraying someone does to someone. The fact that you still aren't understanding of that is a problem you need to work on in therapy on your own to learn to accept. This whole post reads like you are not really at fault for your initial actions that you put in and enough work and effort, so now everything should be just magically better on your timeline. That's not rebuilding trust. That's the theme through the whole thing. I'm doing all this, I confessed. He should magically everything be okay. It doesn't work that way. And no woman whose guy was cheating on her when she was pregnant would react and just get over it like that. None. I truly hope marriage counseling works, but you may also both need to face the fact that marriage is broken, and that it's better for your daughter to grow up around two adults who are healthy than two that are together miserable. Better they split up, he heals, she heals the best way they can, and the daughter can see each of them happy on their own. It says here, he wants to stay married because he wants to stay with his daughter, but the unfortunate reality is he will just never love you like he used to. Almost everyone who's been on his side will tell you that. He will never see you the same way again. You will never light up his world the way you once did. He's avoiding dealing with his emotions, but they are still there, and very clear disinterest and resentment. You can stay in the marriage knowing that it will never be the same, although it may become a little bit less cold in time, or you can leave, but you can't have the old one back. You burned it to the ground. Now, there are a lot of comments of people kind of supporting her, or I want to say supporting, but they're-ing her and all that, but I'm sticking to the ones I think are important. And another guy says here, by the way, dressing up for him is like backfiring. A lot of people are S-word repulsed by their cheating partners, and seeing them be sexual or go out of their way to seduce, be attentive, etc., puts them in a high alert that their partner is just planning to cheat again. Yeah, probably him seeing her dressing up all sexy to go out with her girlfriends, I was just like, kapow. And just picturing her, what's she doing now? because she's not getting any from me, and it's a bad situation, and look at her looking like all that. Hell, she doesn't dress like that for me, but when she goes out with her girlfriends, look at her looking all sexy. Doesn't trust her. It's done. But again, the whining, he's the bad guy, not me, it's just ridiculous. So guys, just remember these things, you relationship guys. Pay attention to red flags always, and don't buy into the BS. If you are a relationship guy and your gal cheats on you or your wife and she's trying to get you to forgive and forget so easily, and understand that right here, twisting it around, now you're the bad guy. All right, guys, that's it for tonight. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Also, guys, be sure to sign up for my other channels if you haven't done so already. Subscribe to them. Strong, Successful Male or SSM Clips. I'm making a big push to grow those channels this year. And the more people sign up for them, the more YouTube will see that, hey, these channels are popular, and I can spread the word around YouTube, everything I can do to help out guys out there. So just click on the link below, sign up. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.